Hello, Teresa Tree out here at our Global Family Farm, and I have a very interesting technique to show you today on how to smother weeds. And it's something that might be new to you. Check it out. Okay, it's to put old carpets down on your pathways. For example, right here on this pathway, and jump over to this pathway, I just took the carpets off of here and there are no weeds anymore. And I have left them on there for several months. So that really does help, especially when your weeds are big and they're kind of just in your way. And so now I'm going to lay down some more carpet along this pathway. Okay, so here I just laid down the carpet, and the carpet's nice because you can adjust it to your width, right? You can move it however wide your pathway is. So I doubled it up here, and this one is also doubled up, and then opened this one up wider. This pathway has some mint, so then this will keep the mint down. And this is in December 21st, solstice. If you don't have some old carpet, you can also use some old tarps, and then you put wood on top to keep these down for several months. And underneath here was some comfrey, so this tarp's going to keep the comfrey from growing and taking over, because we are trying to have a little walkway right here next to the greenhouse. And talking about comfrey, watch out, it can also become a weed. It can take over like it did here in this plot. So we're gonna keep chopping it down and dropping it, but also we'll have to move carpet on to smother this. And the technique is possible because, you know, it covers the sun, and so no photosynthesis is taking place, so the plants cannot grow. So here's a big clump of comfrey right there, and then another clump, and then this whole thing became a big clump, and it's taken away from our garden space. So watch out, some plants can become weeds. Here's some comfrey growing along the edge, which is fine, and then just a few comfrey plants here along this edge, which is fine. And we did the same technique here. This whole thing was covered for months on end with tarps and pieces of wood and bricks, and smothered and got out all the comfrey. Okay, then when we chop off the comfrey leaves, we add them to our compost pile. We're making like a big haystack, a big round compost pile, and we just put all this comfrey leaves onto the compost pile, which is a source of nitrogen and minerals and nutrients for the compost. It kind of helps activate and speed up the compost pile, having the comfrey leaves. This littler compost pile does not have any comfrey leaves on it. We'll probably put some on it next, and smother the compost pile with the comfrey leaves. Here's another patch where we just chopped the comfrey, and then it gives, of course, room for the herbs to grow, and then these clumps will grow back and fill in. It's like a perpetual system. The supply is always continuous of comfrey leaves that we can keep chopping and dropping and adding to the compost. You can make compost tea with it also. But here's kind of the ideal. You want like a comfrey plant in between your fruit trees. So it's in between these two apple trees. Okay, so that's some of the gardening during winter. Getting weeds down and chopping and dropping comfrey, growing cover crops, mulching, adding compost to your soil. Keep it growing. All right, happy holidays. This is happy solstice today.